You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds.
Get
to transmission.
You are now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are here in the News Radio WFLA Orlando studios for a full 2 hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I am your host, Angela Smerito, and in studio with me we have our producer, Melissa Fox.
What's up?
It's good to see you, darling.
Always a pleasure.
And up next we have Melissa Jacob with Striking Brand.
Hello. Good afternoon.
So she is our co-host, and she's also a radiographer. So
Videographer. I changed jobs. I didn't know.
Is that radio?
Yeah,
Isn't that one that looks
right?
at X-rays?
Okay.
You're doing that now, new
I'm
gig?
doing that now. Yeah, I'm expanding.
So you're a radio. I like that.
I do that. I'm also a videographer. So.
Yes, and if you go to baadradio.com, you can see all the previous episodes of BaaD Radio. Again, she's been doing it for like over a year now, so you can actually go back to the initial
Don't
videos.
Do it. Please don't
Actually,
do it.
they're not bad.
You just learn. We get better, and you want to see the most recent. This is episode 36. Okay, so we came a long way.
Well, it promoted me to go to the Botox doctor.
Oh, did it? It was the lighting. It wasn't you.
But you can also go to strikingbrand.com to see all of Melissa's work. Okay, so it's another week and gone by, so it's another episode of BaaD Radio, and we're going to getting an update on things with House Bill 837, but we're going to get it from a little bit of a different source today. So please welcome Alli MacCarroll with Alli Mac Consulting. I can't hear her.
What? I can hear her.
All right. Talk
I
again.
Can
you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. I told Alli that it was a little hard to call her Alli MacCarroll because everybody knows her as Alli Mac, and that's all I've really ever called you before is Alli Mac.
Very true, very true. I also did radio, and they called me Alli Mac.
It's just catchy.
Nobody has known my last name.
I wish Angela Smerito. I don't know. I wish I had like a name that I could abbreviate for it to sound cool, but I'm just gonna stick with what I got. But yes, super excited to have you here because Alli and I have worked together it's been about 5 or 6 years now. So, but this is the first time we've been on the air together, so that's fun.
Excited, yes.
All right. So this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Frogger's Bar and Grill. Looking for a place to go with friends or meet new ones? Then you're looking for Frogger's Grill and Bar. With 4 great locations, there's bound to be one near you. Come with friends or bring the family for some food and fun. And don't miss out on Frogger's amazing menu where everything is fresh, never frozen. Oviedo, Mount Dora, Apopka, Altamont Springs, Frogger's hopping with food and fun.
They have some really interesting things too. They have like a donut burger.
I don't know. I've never ventured into some of the craziness. I like their chicken quesadillas. That's like my go-to.
Classic.
And then with Frogger's, you can never go wrong with their wings.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the Oviedo one's closer to me, but like I go to the Altamont one.
That's
probably.
actually where we met at Frogger's.
Is it really the first time?
We did.
Connection.
That's where we met.
Wow. Gosh.
I don't remember what we ate, but I know that we were all happy because of it.
Yeah, we actually did a live remote there. And it was so much fun, and they set us up with food, and
that was the one in Altamont, right?
Yeah, that was Altamont. So, all right. So networking news is up next.
We're up next. Okay, so the networking news, as always, is brought to you by Live Your Best Life. Live Your Best Life is an independent advocate for Green Compass USDA certified organic hemp products. They offer a complete range of products, including hemp wellness, targeted health, personal care, performance, even products for our furry friends. To get more information on these products, or if you want to become a consultant, call our friend Terry at 407-616-3145.
Excellent. That was a great read. Love it.
Thank you.
All right. So for the networking news, Alli, normally what we do is we set something up and we talk about something that's coming up that's networking news worthy. And so today what I wanted to talk about is an event that you have coming up that Alli approached me about sponsoring the event. And I took a look at it and I was like, yes, this is going to work. So tell everybody about the event.
Well, the event is on the 17th of March for St. Patty's Day. And my events are very specific to an industry, and that's the personal injury industry. I host different events, and I bring the industry together, new doctors, familiar doctors, older, so they can build more of their network and they can form referral sources.
Okay. So is it a ticketed event?
It is, well, you're supposed to RSVP with me,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you RSVP, then once you get to the event, you're given a wristband.
Okay.
So then you're going to be privy to, the
But I mean, is it open?
festivities.
Is it open to the public? So, for example, this would be okay. So I'm a radio rep, and I'm like, ooh, there's this networking. There's going to be a bunch of attorneys and medical professionals there. I'm going to go prospect there. Am I allowed to go? Be honest. This is like I said, we're
face says
really.
no. The face says no.
I know. It's
She
okay.
doesn't want to say it.
Well, the venue, in all fairness, the venue is open to everybody.
Which venue is it?
It's over at Admiral's, over at Baldwin Park.
Okay, very nice.
So it's open to everybody because of the festivities of St. Patty's Day.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have a certain section where it's going to be, the PI industry. I mean, if people want to go and partake of the venue and then
And eavesdrop.
bump into people, they're more than welcome to.
Mhm.
But at the same time, my purpose for it is just very specific with that. But yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome. Admirals, just, bump into me.
Well, I mean, Melissa and I are both part of BNI, and I know you've been at BNI before because I've seen you before. So I mean, we're always looking for networking opportunities to go to, not just like for our business growth, but to grow our BNI chapters, because that's something that like the more successful BNI chapter is, the more successful the members are. So like I said, I'm always looking for opportunities. And the thing about the personal injury seat in each chapter is a very sought after seat. So there's really not a lot of chapters that have that available. But as far as medical professionals go, I mean, getting the chiropractor seat in a chapter is great. Like I said, I think your chapter actually has.
We have a chiropractor.
Yeah, but you also have a doctor, don't you?
Yes.
Wait, is it a
Doctor,
is-
acupuncturist,
Oh,
both of
nice.
those.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So so there's that networking opportunity as well. So is there during the course of the event? I know it's from 6 to 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it themed? Do you have like speakers, or is it just really just like time to walk around, shake hands, and meet people?
So whenever I host any kind of event like this, whether it's a 15 person, 30 or 400 person event, I always, of course, do the welcoming and just kind of just say a very, very small tidbit of what my company does, because I'm also their marketing for my business. And then pretty much
Mm-hmm.
everybody already knows that, it's like speed marketing.
Yeah.
I almost said
Networking.
speed, yeah. And then everybody's just mingling. And if somebody comes up to me and say, hey, Alli, I want to meet some attorneys, if like a chiro or an orthopedic comes to me and I said, hold on, let me make an introduction. And then I just plug people together.
So she's the networking queen.
Nice.
I know.
Love that.
The queen bee of networking. I do love that. It's always nice to be the person that knows that they can interject.
And that makes it fun too. And it's an event and you're doing networking and you have like somewhere nice to go and not just, sometimes it gets a little stale.
Well, I also think too, people go there with an open mind and that it is going to be networking.
Right.
And that's the mindset they're in, because lots of times if like, all right, I've been a radio rep for a long time, and lots of times if you cold call, you're catching them at a time that they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear what you got to sell. They're thinking about their next case, or they're thinking about their next patient. They don't want to think about, how much a commercial costs at between 6A to 10A. They don't care.
Right.
So in that setting, it's nice because people are more inclined to shake your hand and actually.
Well, it's more purposeful because you go there networking, marketing. I have a lot of companies, attorneys and doctors' offices that don't really want to go by themselves to the event. So they ask me, when I get there, can you introduce me to some people? And that way I don't feel awkward. So,
Right.
And then I do, and I kind of get the ball rolling. And the same thing I'll do for you guys, as far as I'll let you know, okay, this attorney's here, different locations, these are the industries, this doctor here, and so forth and so on. I don't know everybody. I'd like to, and I think, as these events continue, I'll continue to expand my network.
All right, that music means that we're going to break. So, but we're going to continue with this conversation with Alli Mack, so stay tuned.
You're listening to BaaD Radio on News Radio WFLA Orlando.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And welcome back. And I'm going to say spring is in the air, so now is the time to head to Premier Couple Superstore with a huge selection of lingerie, shoes, toys, game, love oils, and a ton of great gifts. Premier Couple Superstore has got what you want, and you don't pay those high prices because you go directly to the source. And be sure to join their loyalty program. 5009 South OBT, or shop online at premiercouples.net, because a couple that plays together stays together. You like that?
I love it every time.
I think that's like the best tagline ever.
Yeah.
So,
Cute.
all right. So we're back with Alli Mack with Alli Mack Consulting, and I'm excited to have you here. So we talked a little bit about the event, but let's backtrack a little bit and let's talk about your businesses real quick. So give us a brief overview about Alli Mack Consulting, and then the other ones that you have going to. She's got 3 phones over here.
So I started my company about 7 years ago. I've been in the legal industry for 17 years as a paralegal, and I saw a need in my industry, and that was with social media marketing, branding, events, just anything to do with more of just digital. Not necessarily radio, TV, because that's not my wheelhouse, but it's just more of just web development, SEO, and all that. And because I had the network, I started a company, and I got some really solid people working with me. And I've been, at it for 7 years. So last year I said, you know what, like I don't have enough to do. Let me start another company. So last year I started the Mac Media Group.
And that sounds really cool too, just so you know.
Keeping with my theme,
Yeah.
Alli Mack, Mac Media Group. So that company does pretty much the same thing that Alli Mack Consulting does, but it does it for all other industries, and we're also in other states as well.
Right. So what made you decide to start a whole new business instead of just opening up Alli Mack Consulting to other businesses? Because to me, it almost seems like there's more work there instead because you have to set up a new LLC or S corp, or you know what I mean. So what made you decide to keep Alli Mack with just attorneys and medical professionals, and then open up a whole nother company?
So when I started Alli Mack, I'm very niche specific.
Yeah.
And for me, I did not want to dilute the brand that I had already created.
Okay.
So for me, it only made sense to put different businesses in another umbrella. And also, as a serial entrepreneur, I've always wanted to have multiple sources of income. So that part of it, or yes, it's the same thing. They produce different. One of my businesses is not necessarily volume; it's quality. Well, I guess it's quality. And then the other one is more volume part because of the different types of industries. So I just like having that diversity of, I'm and my Alli Mack Consulting, I'm growing it, and it's just a well-oiled machine at this point.
Right.
And then the Mac Media Group, I'm also going to, start building that even more. And then before you know it, I'll get into, something else. I'm trying to get into real estate at the end of this year too.
Yeah.
Buying some commercial properties.
I'm the same way. I'm always like, I don't have enough going on here. You know what? Let me pick up some Rodan and Field stuff. Come on, bring it. I'm like,
So do you have a big team that's helping you with all? Because that sounds overwhelming to me.
So I used to do everything for the first 3 years by myself. Everything. I have a team of 8 people right now.
good for you, girl. That's
all,
awesome.
They're all full sale, UCF, and everybody works remote right now. It started not necessarily because of the pandemic or anything. It's just our type of industry. You just, we do Zoom calls and all that. But yeah, my team is just solid. I've actually trained them from the beginning to be in this industry because,
nice.
Unless you're in this industry, you don't really know, certain things that you need to do, whether you're a graphic designer, web developer, copywriter.
And that really
and
helps
stuff.
training them from the ground so that you're not having to tweak
Or
old habits.
unteach what they've already learned.
Yeah.
And so your background, I'm very interested in what you were saying about your background, and you said you're paralegal, right? And so you were saying, okay, I'm a paralegal, but Was it your job as a paralegal as business development? Is that how you decide? Is that how you just determined that there was like a lack in the social media part in that field?
So when I was working in a firm, I've always wanted to. Before I turned 40, I don't want to give my age, but I just
Okay,
did.
don't even like I said. I'm like 10 years older than you. So,
So I always wanted to own my own company, period. And I saw myself in a firm where I loved what I did, but I kind of hit the wall in my career. So at that point, I reached out to another business owner, another Chiro, and I said, listen, I'm trying to make a career change. I want to go into something, maybe like a business development for a medical something. Long story short, I was a director of business development for an orthopedic practice, 12 offices all over the state of Florida. I did that for a couple of years, and I found that I started doing my own social media to promote the business, and it actually grew the business more, and I became more known. So for me, I'm like, okay, there's no companies that are helping us when it comes to that. And then when I stopped, guess what? People were still contacting me.
yeah. Well, honestly, there's not any, but especially like in the BNI world, if I'm meeting with a personal injury attorney or something like that, everybody knows who Alli Mac Consulting is. I don't know if you know that, but like I said, you're very well known in the industry as somebody that specializes in that. And as far as I know, I mean, I do know of a lot of companies that do, the web development and all that other stuff, but I have yet to meet one that just specializes in one field of business. So I do think that that's actually really cool. I mean, because I guess every business, one formula for like, if you're going to do social media for a lawn service, it's not going to be the same, right?
That just has to mean like a bigger impact. You're so specialized that you kind of honed all that. And so that's probably why everybody knows you, because they're like, she knows what she's doing.
Well, because I did manage to do all that with my own company, and other businesses say, I want you to do exactly what you did to yours to mine.
You showed them the proof, like before they had to.
That I was like, okay, so if I can do it, let me start a company and then do it for other businesses.
Right. So that there's a formula. You've created a formula, and then you can apply that outline, that formula to other businesses. And you've been doing it for 7 years, which means that you're doing a good job. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be doing it. I want to talk to you about the formula, though, but I know that we're getting ready to go to break. So hold that thought. So like I said, I want to talk about the formula and how you put that together. And then I want to talk about the differences between the medical and the legal, because I know they work hand in hand, but I know that they're two different animals. So stay tuned, and we will be right back after this break.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And welcome back. This portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Rick Hall and his team are ready to give your lawn that just stepped out of the salon look. With this crazy weather, your lawn may not be looking its best. Ask about the new lawn painting service. And as always, Ground Up Property Service offers an irrigation membership program to make sure everything is running the way that it's supposed to. You can reach Ground Up Property Services at 407-468-4295 or groundupinc.net. All right, so before the break, I was talking to her. I want to talk about formulas. And when I say formulas, the formula for success. You walk us through the process of, you don't have to tell us your secrets, but you know what I mean? Like, let's talk a little bit about what you've learned. So over the past 7 years. So I
want to know the secrets.
Yeah.
Me too.
No one's listening. It's just between us.
I am a chiropractor, and I just moved into town, and I just opened my own clinic, right? And so I'm like, I need to get the word out there, and you get recommended. So tell us, like, how does that process start?
Okay, so I think for any business, in particular, chiropractic offices, for instance, I have multiple clients that start from the ground to chiro offices that have been in practice for many years. They want to move the needle a little bit, or I'm doing something wrong. One of the things I always ask my clients, are you active in our industry? What type of marketing budget, if any, do you have? Do you do any marketing? Do you do any meetings? And based on their answers, then I let them know you have to be active in your industry and not necessarily going to a lot of events, but those key events. I have a Cairo office right now that goes door to door knocking to any and every attorney out there. And I'm going to tell you, he's very, very good at promoting his own business because it's his own business from the beginning. So he is getting that good feedback and also getting that response from the attorneys. If you're an office that I'm going to sit in my office and I'm going to wait for business to come to me, that's not going to happen. I work along with my clients. I put them on social media platforms that I believe are going to be helpful. I also link them up with offices that I know that are doing higher volume, vice versa, whether you're a chiro or an attorney and things like that. And then I also tell my clients, I'm going to work in tandem with you. So if I'm doing this part of the marketing, you also have to do your part and meet with the other referral
Have
sources.
your face out there.
Yeah,
So,
you can't just do everything. You're not going to know. You're not going to see your ROI from my social media
Right.
until you go out there and people say, you know what, you're always on my feed, or
Right.
I see you. I know you from
It's
Facebook.
like that thing about seeing the same sort of advertising, but different ways.
Yeah, we do that in radio too. Like with radio, we would never if somebody came to me or I came to them and they wanted to run a radio campaign, but they didn't have any social media presence whatsoever, including a website. I would say you need to do that first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Step one.
the way things are today is, people hear things, there's repetition. They go and they do a Google search. They get their phone and they type it in. Very rarely, I still talk about phone numbers, but nobody really pulls their car over to write a phone number down after they hear an ad. They have to hear that ad several times until it registers, and then they Google it, and that's when Alli takes it over, right?
Exactly. Well, not only that, but also I think that you have to be, as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to take risks. So about 4 years ago, something was presented on my lap. And I heard it from another entrepreneur, and he says, you know what, have you ever done this type of work? And I said, no, within my wheelhouse. I said, no, I haven't. And he says, you know what, I think you can do it. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to help you by giving you the first X, Y, and Z. And I said, okay. So it was time spent, time out of my day and other things, but it doubled my income.
Oh my gosh.
What? So a year ago, something else got put on my lap, and the same thing is happening. So had I been the type of person that said, no, I'm doing fine right now, I'm doing fine, not wanting to kind of push the envelope to see how I can scale my business, because I think that people are put in front of us for reasons.
Yeah.
A lot of times we just kind of like, I wonder what she meant by that, or I wonder what they meant by that. Okay, but I actually was proactive and I said, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I also think that business owners need to also take those risks, calculated, of course. You don't want to give,
Right.
But I think that the taking those risks, the calculated risk, actually is going to be good, because whether if you fail or you succeed, you still learn and you're growing.
I think that's
Period.
That's
I
true.
mean, I hope that you do tell that to your clients, because that is like one of the hardest things as somebody like selling media is that people, one of my biggest pet peeves is, I'm so busy, I can't even handle the business I have now. That's, because that's what people will say to kind of shut you down, which is fine. I'm glad that that's like that, but it's not always going to be like that. And in fact, I know that Alli and I were just talking, because Alli actually is going to be affected by this House Bill 837 too. So her and I had a very detailed conversation. And just for the listening audience, so House Bill 837 is basically the one that they're trying to push through right now. That's going to limit personal injury. Remind me if I got all this right. So it is going to minimize the amount of personal injury. Not money, but you know what I mean? If you get
You're
hurt,
going to cap it?
is going to cap it. Yeah.
Right.
So what that's going to do is it actually takes away a lot of your rights, because if you get hurt in an accident, normally right now you can get an attorney. The attorney takes it to trial. You get rewarded. You get not rewarded, but you get awarded money for what's happened to you. With this new proposal, they're trying to say that is limited. Is that's correct, right?
Yeah, we're not going to have as much access to attorneys because the attorneys' fees are also now. Right now, it's still up in the Senate, so the attorney's fees are still kind of, nothing's been settled.
Right.
But what they're trying to propose as well is they're also, what the bill's going to do is it's going to put a lot of businesses out of business.
Yes.
And yes, in my industry, but at the same time, I mean, they're Florida residents, period.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's going to happen is if you get injured, you're going to have to find your own provider to take care of you based on Medicaid rates.
Yes, and Medicaid rates, just so you guys know, is a lot less than what it actually is going to cost. So,
and not a lot of providers are going to. So what is going to happen is when you get injured, it's going to flood the healthcare system. So I mean, if you have insurance, that's a completely different, completely different path that you take. You go through your insurance and all that. But I think it's very important for all of us to understand that these bills that are being passed right now or that are in the House right now are going to affect not just the personal injury community, but residents. If you have a vehicle, if you drive a vehicle in Florida, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you with filing a claim with an attorney for wrongful, what if you lose a limb? What if you're, just a catastrophic injury or anything? You're not going to have that accessibility to an attorney because now the attorney's fees are going to be lessened. And now
well, I mean, you'll have to pay out of your pocket, So what the jury is going to see is that your medical costs were $100,000, but what your medical costs really are is $500,000, $1 million. So, but when Alli and I were talking too, we were talking about the actual businesses, and you've got some businesses, some attorneys that are like getting scared. They're like pulling our advertising. And I said to Alli, I was like, this is the worst time that you can pull your advertising because right now, and then for me, I'm calling on attorneys myself for a program that Mindful Media Group's putting together called Insurance Companies Are Lying To.com. And I've got some attorneys that are like, let's do it. Let's shout on let's shout at the top of our lungs and do what we can. And then you've got some that are just like, they want to just roll over and be like, oh, well, it's already done. We're not going to do anything about it. And it's crazy how far the two spectrums are. I can tell you one thing, and I feel you guys are probably the same thing. If it's going to affect my business.
That's what I was about to say. I'm so surprised that something that is so impactful, like directly to your business, like I don't even understand how that reaction would be like, oh, it's already foregone conclusion.
I had one attorney say to me, oh, well, we just renovated our office, so we're really tight right now. And I was like, well, guess what? You might not have doors to open soon. Right. So you might want to think about that. I didn't say that to them, but you know what I mean? That's what I was thinking in my head.
But I know PI offices right now, they have been and are pivoting also.
They're going to have
putting in new services and doing different types of laws.
They're having a game plan. I want to keep talking about this, but we have to go to break again. So stay tuned, and we're going to jump right back in after the break.
Check out more BaaD Radio on YouTube. Just go to BaaD Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back again. This portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Impact Electric of Orlando, who focuses on residential and commercial electrical work. When talking about the quality of work, Impact Electric is one of the best. We use Impact Electric of Orlando for all of our electrical needs, and I would recommend them to anyone. 407-747-0874. All right, so we're here with Alli Mack with Alli Mack Consulting, and then Mac Media?
The Mac Media Group.
The Mac Media Group. They both are fantastic names. All right, so moving forward, we're doing, I know we're doing that event. How many times do you put on events? You mentioned the whole state of Florida, huh?
Yeah, so Alli Mack Consulting is in a lot of other states, but specifically because I'm here, I host at least 1 to 2 events a month in different areas. So I might do 2 in Orlando this month, and then I'm doing another one in Tampa, in Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, and so forth and so on.
So that's got to take up the majority of your time, right? Because planning events is kind of a big deal.
So the planning that I do is not necessarily I'm going to pick out the silverware, the china, the this. No, it's not that. It's you got a venue, and the people that I have in place, they're the ones that take care of more the logistic part of it. I'm the one that promotes the event and brings the people that need to be in that event. So yes, it's a lot of work, but I do have people that help me when it comes to
that's where that team comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this event for March 17th, what kind of attendance do you think that we'll have?
So every time that I always say a number, it winds up being higher.
That works. I'm not going to go through and count. I'm just curious.
It's better than being lower.
I remember there was one of your ones that I went to, one of your mixers, and it was downtown. I can't remember the venue, but it was like standing room only.
Yeah. So my events a while back before COVID, I know it was like 400,
this was pre-COVID,
400 people.
Okay.
I toned it down after COVID. It was 200. But in all honesty, I tried to bring less people and do more quality than quantity, because of the fact that, for instance, I'd hosted an event with 15 people for one of my clients, and it yielded him back the very next day. I can host an event with 100 people, and it doesn't yield the same, believe it or not, for my client.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I get to a point when there's too many people, I can't. I think that it dilutes the
like
networking.
Overload. Yeah. So when it's a little bit more pared down, you can kind of manage the rooms.
Now, a massive event will help everybody that goes in certain numbers, but for me, I'm focused on if you're, if I'm doing this for my client, of course, I want them to see the value in it. And I mean, I love the fact that other people are also getting value of it. But my thing is I want to make sure that my client gets the value of it. And I find that making the event smaller and making it more quality versus quantity is better.
Right. Right.
So for this event on March 17th, is it for a specific client or is this just for everybody? I mean, when I say everybody, like you're inviting all your clients and then prospects as well, right?
So I'm inviting specific people for the event. Of course, attorneys Kairos does my industry. I'm inviting certain people that maybe don't normally go out to events. I'm inviting people that need to be in front of one attorney, one Cairo or the other. So I'm hoping I get a good number. What number I'm going to get, I don't know.
Right.
But at the same time, I know that the industry itself, they like when I host events. I'd love to say that everybody comes out to meet me. No, they don't come out to meet me. They come out because I know I get the good offices that come out, and then I'm always linking everybody together. So my events are very, very much known to be a networking event versus, hey, I'm going to go for a happy hour.
Right.
We're going to go drinking. I'm not saying that doesn't happen eventually in the event, but it's very, very focused on, let me put in front of you a couple of offices that I think that you need to meet. So.
And what made you decide to reach out to me to ask to sponsor?
I always want to make sure that I'm not just going to my go-to people.
Right.
I want to make sure that I show a little diversity also, and I want to make sure I always expand my network. And in all honesty, I also saw you on my social media, and I'm like, bing.
Because the timing's perfect for me right now.
So
because
I was like,
I'm literally working like in this, on this specific topic. So when you sent me that text, I sat there, I was like, duh. I'm like, this is like makes so much sense. I didn't really say it. Well, actually I did. That was what came out of my mouth. I was like, wait a second. This makes total sense. But I'm excited. Like I said, now that BaaD Radio is getting to a certain point, it's fun to take it outside of the studio. When we did the Froggers remote, it was just it's really cool to see the BaaD brand starting from, I mean, Alli was one of the first people, you were one of my first people that I invited to Business at a Distance when COVID hit, because she had a networking platform and I knew her and I knew she did that. And we just like you said, she would put posts in there. And so when I would see people post in there, I would just like do a little happy dance because it means that it's working. It means that people are using it. And like I said, I didn't make like money off of that, but that was like my own personal happiness to see that grow. And then you also would invite people into the group. So you helped grow it, which I really appreciate
that's
as
huge.
well.
Not having to do that. Anytime you have someone who's helping you grow that's not like invested in it, it's like, oh, thank you so much.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, business at a distance has opened up so many different doors and relationships. And I'm very happy that it's at a point now that you would think of me and say, of the show and say, you know what, that would be a good sponsorship. So like I said, I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm also very excited about the networking opportunities. So we have about 3 minutes left of the show. Tell us a couple of other things that's got going on. And then when we wrap it up, we're going to get all your contact information out. Okay. So like I said, just give us your last little blip about Alli Mac.
Well, we just redid the websites. Please check the website out, allimacconsulting.com. We also just did the Mac Media Group. For me, it's all about connecting. For me, it's all about growth. Women empowerment, yes, but I love businesses. I love people that start their own business.
Me
I love
too.
mentoring. I have people that reach out to me on LinkedIn and never met them before at all, not even in my industry, but they say, hey, do you mind? I want to start my own business. I have a family of 4. This is what I'm thinking. So I'm doing these mentoring sessions with them. And for them to message me, somebody messaged me on Saturday saying, congratulate me. I just opened my LLC. I'm like,
yeah. But I mean, we've all done that. You did it. I've done it with business at a distance. And it is, I'm just now getting ready to do my taxes, which I was like, oh, wow.
Why did you have to bring that up?
It's not fun.
No.
That part's not fun.
I haven't even started.
But it is very empowering. And I love the fact that you were doing something and you were just like, I want to start my own business. But you did it like you thought about it. You did your research. And I know with Melissa, she had support. She had somebody that was like promoting that you do that. And you also had BNI. And I think that, like I said, I think it's just an amazing thing to have the cojones to put it together and try it. Because the more I talk with people, and a lot of it's these attorneys, a lot of people don't have the guts to take that plunge. I know.
All you need is you have to have more faith in yourself. And one of the things that always sticks to me is fear is something we make up. So remove the fear and put more of the, I can do it.
Yeah.
And just take that leap of faith and start it. If you've ever wanted to start any type of business, start it. I had an eBay business when I was pregnant with my daughter. My daughter's 26 years old. I was an at-home mom. I'm like, I need to do something. I started an eBay business.
What did you sell?
Anything and everything.
Go thrifting. You can go thrifting and then sell it on eBay and make a ton of money.
Yeah, I have friends who do that.
I would do it if I had more time. I could put it on my list of like the 500 things that I can do. So we are kind of wrapping it up. So like I said, you mentioned the website, but mention them again and let everybody know the best way to get in touch with you. And then also plug the event, please, because I'm going to be there.
Yes.
We got 1 minute.
March 17th, it's over at Admiral. It starts at 6, from 6 to 9. We have some great sponsors. Please, BaaD Radio is going to be there. My website is allimacconsulting.com, the Mac Media Group, both of the websites if you're interested in social media management. My phone number is 407-242-2626.
All right. So, I think that we probably have like, I don't know, a minute. How are we on time? Are we going to wrap? Oh, no, there it is. So, Alli, thank you so much for being our guest today. I am super excited to have you here, and I have a feeling that we're probably going to see you again on BaaD Radio.
I hope so. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It was fun.
Stand by. Hour number 2 is coming your way next for BaaD Radio. I'm Melissa Fox on News Radio WFLA Orlando.
You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Come on, shop.
Break for 30 seconds.
Come on, shop.
You're now listening to BaaD Radio.
Welcome back as we launch into the second hour of BaaD Radio. I'm going to run through all the regular introductions for those of you who have just joined us. I am Angela Smerito, your host, and we've got our producer, Melissa Fox.
What's up?
Our co-pilot and videographer, Melissa Jacob.
Hey, hello.
And her business is Striking Brand, and you can catch all of last year's and previous episodes of BaaD Radio on baadradio.com. You can also see the rest of Melissa's work on strikingbrand.com.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go from digital marketing to pro wrestling. Please welcome my friend Daniel MacShaw with Pro Wrestling Action.
Hey there. I love the energy of this opening, man. I feel like I'm starting my show.
I really want to talk about that because that's really cool. So this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Rachel Roach Realty, a Coldwell Banker Realtor. In a sea of realtors out there, choose the one that thinks of you first and not their commission. 407-252-4566. All right, so very cool. So Daniel MacShaw, because I was like, do I call you Dan Shaw? Because I knew Daniel in a previous life where he was an insurance salesman.
And still am. And I've been called a lot of things, so anything that can be said on the air will be fine by me.
Wonderful.
Well, there are limitations to what we can call you, so we're going to keep it good. So I'm super excited to have you here today. We did talk about you a little bit when we were before Super Bowl because we used tickets to your event that's coming up on March 19th as prizing for a Froggers remote that we did. So that was very exciting. So we have a chance to talk about the event that's coming up. But before we jump into that, you got to give me the intel on how you got into this. Because when I knew you, like you were insurance, I mean, you're still an insurance salesman. But this is a whole different world from insurance.
Slightly different. Just a little different. You know?
So give us the rundown.
You know, one case, I'm just sitting down with my laptop at Starbucks or Panera with you guys, going over your insurance. Another case, I'm wearing a very gaudy outfit and announcing on a mic, "Let's get ready to rumble."
Oh, I love it.
Are you allowed to say that? Because
no, I am not. Okay. No.
Retracting.
I'm probably going to
immediately.
get sued for what I just did.
No.
So.
Melissa will fix it.
Here.
You got it.
Trying
You
to
can
get
dump
me
that
into
for me,
copyright
right?
trouble.
Let's
We
get ready
got
to
you.
not rumble.
I'll bleep
Actually,
it.
it's been a wild ride and it's just started.
Right? So, but I meant, how did it get started?
So, funny thing was, I became a wrestling fan as an adult. I got into it during the 1990s in the Attitude Era with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. And to me, it was so much more than just two people beating each other up in a ring. It was a comic book come to life. It was good versus evil. It was tales of redemption and betrayal. Like, this is exciting stuff. It's like an action movie every week. And I became a huge fan of it. Moved to
Florida. Do you remember Rikishi?
Yes.
So he had the biggest butt ever. And he would do this thing where he would cram somebody in the corner and he had like on his little G-strings or whatever.
G-string, right?
And he would cram his butt right into their face.
Sounds like a Ren and Stimpy episode or something.
Kind of was. Now, I can't guarantee it was the biggest butt. I've never measured it, but I'll go with that and we'll just assume it was.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted. Anyway, continue, please.
Okay, leading on from big butts. So, to me,
Cannot lie.
I was going to do the same thing.
play the sound clip like thanks, Sir Mix-a-Lot, right? But yeah, so what happened was I moved to Florida, and I used to be in a few different areas. I was a headhunter on Wall Street. I was a teacher. Came down here, got into the insurance industry, where today I'm still a health insurance broker helping people out, which is wonderful, and found out that this is the mecca of pro wrestling.
Is it really?
Absolutely. Currently,
Orlando,
WWE, the biggest company in the world, they have their multi-million-dollar performance center right in Winter Park.
It's at Full Sail, right?
Yeah. Well, they were shooting TV at Full Sail. Now they're doing more at their performance center, but Full Sail is an amazing place. They still do work there. The second biggest company in the world, AEW, they do a lot of their production at Universal Studios.
Right.
And
did that used to be TNA Wrestling?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so the company wasn't, but TNA used to shoot in that same
Right. Okay.
What's
studio.
TNA stand for? I have a.
Total nonstop action. What did
That's
you think?
not that.
Tom and Ange.
Am I right? Am I right when I'm guessing?
Total nonstop action.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know.
No, that's,
TNA.
What did you think it was?
that's
Melissa?
exactly what I was thinking.
Absolutely. And then all the schools are around here. So people come from all over the world to train in Orlando area and to Tampa area to become a professional wrestler, hopefully get seen by a company like WWE or AEW. So the talent that comes here is amazing.
I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I mean, Hulk Hogan's got his restaurants in town. And then about 10, 12 years ago, I had a buddy of mine who was running a company called Southern Championship Wrestling. It was the mayor of the Barry at the time. Chris Carson runs all the events for the city of Mount Dora. And we're having a beer one night, and I was like, hey, if you ever need an announcer, he goes, great, you're on. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, my announcer just quit. Thanks. Here's the date and go. I'm like,
Did you do public speaking prior?
Yeah, I used to do quite a bit in New York. I did a little bit of acting here and there.
See, that's perfect. I didn't know that. So
Yes.
We're learning.
Yeah, if you ever go online and look up a really low-budget movie called Fiesta Grande, the annoying businessman in the first 2 minutes is me.
Oh, 2 whole minutes though.
Yes.
I thought he was gonna say like in the background, like.
I was in the background, I was in the foreground for about 60 seconds of the movie, and then if I haven't killed the movie, you can watch the rest of it. Did a commercial as the annoying salesperson for a car company about 12 years ago. Still floats around the internet. So I think I gotta
look this up.
Oh yeah, because I was the only guy in Florida with a suit. So basically, it's like, hey, we like him. He wears a suit. But I did my first announcing about 12 years ago for Southern Championship Wrestling. It was an amazing experience. Had a blast. It was like just a sugar rush. Just being out there with the crowds and I love.
I love wrestling fans.
Oh, they're amazing. And the energy you get from facing the crowd and getting them pumped up, it's the greatest high in the world.
I know growing up, I did watch a lot of wrestling with my dad. And who was the one guy that had the long coat that was like sheepskin that would go all the way down? I can't remember who it was, but I remember the first time I got to see him. And this was back in like the pre-rock days.
Okay.
Like, so I'm 50 right now, so you got to think about me. So about 40 years ago. But I remember I got to go to a wrestling match, and I was so excited because we were in the top first 2 rows. But I got hit with sweat.
Oh, God.
And I lost it. I was like, oh, my God. I was like, this is so gross. I'm like, Dad, we got to scoot back. And
Splash zone.
Yes,
No.
I did. I got hit with sweat, and I was grossed out.
Hey, you know what? I mean, if that was a popular person, you could be selling that sweat on eBay right now. or something.
Gross. I have to Google who it was. But, yeah, he used to wear a coat that was, like, long and flowy. And I want to say it was made out of, like, sheep fur or something like that.
And how many years ago?
I would have been probably about 40 years ago. Because, like I
Okay.
said, I was about 10, and I'm 50 now. So, but you know what I found out that was, like, amazing about wrestling and that you don't really think about is how much acting goes into it.
Yes.
So when they launched the place over at By Full Sail, I got to go like with one of like the people that used to have the WWE, the agency, so Triple H was there. A lot of like the big names were there, and but they actually have classes. Like you can take classes to work on your public speaking. You can take classes on developing your character.
Wow.
Like, you have to have a persona, right?
Yeah, and people don't realize how difficult it is to be a professional wrestler. Because one, you have to be an athlete, but you also have to be an entertainer. And there are some amazing amateur wrestlers who could never do professional wrestling because they don't have the
Entertainment
personality.
side.
And
Yeah.
others are amazing, like Kurt Angle, for example, was one of the greatest amateur wrestlers of all time, became one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. So it is a challenge because they have to be everything. They have to be the athlete. They have to be an entertainer. They have to be their own marketing. Because now, thankfully, they use social media, and the smartphone is basically your TV production studio, too,
Right.
so you can get your word out. And you have to get people interested in who you are. Because otherwise, it's just two people slapping each other in the ring, right?
Right.
But if you care about one person, you hate the other person, you're going to buy that ticket to see this one go over and beat this one, and you want to see that one get their butt kicked.
Right. You know what? We're coming up to a break, but I want to talk about how much this stuff is really just set up. But I also want to talk about the events that you
I
have
have no
coming
clue
up.
what you're talking about.
What are you talking about, Angela?
But we certainly will talk about Pro Wrestling Action Presents All-Star Jackpot.
We're not going to commercials just yet. You got to wait for the music
Oh,
to
okay.
start. But
No, he was good. You were money on that one. I was
Thank you.
impressed.
all right, do it again.
Pro Wrestling Action Presents All-Star Jackpot. Sunday, March 19th at the Eastmont Civic Center in Altamont Springs, Florida.
I feel like I've heard that Sunday. Why don't you follow it with, you won't need all of the seat, but you still have to pay all the ticket. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it. It's BaaD Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back, and this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Liberty Property Inspections. Your home is one of your most important investments, so don't trust it to just anyone. LibertyPropertyInspections.net, helping you protect your investment. All right, we're going to jump back in with Daniel MacShaw with Pro Wrestling Action. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for having me on. It's not bad radio, it's awesome radio. So,
well, BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is my spiel. We're a show about local businesses and business networking. So, on the break, you talked about the little business that could. I really like that. So tell us all about this.
Yeah, I consider Pro Wrestling Action, which, by the way, we're legally New American Pro Wrestling LLC, which is another story, presenting shows as Pro Wrestling Action. But we had every blockade in coming to life.
I bet.
Yeah. Initially, about 5 years ago, I was contacted by somebody in Georgia who wanted to do a pro wrestling TV show and wanted me to be the announcer. Then I became the co-producer. And literally 9 months of working with this person to find out they never had a penny. So I was like, you know what? 9 months of my working and developing and getting excited about what I was going to do, I'm just going to do it myself.
That's the gift. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself. You just got to do it. So,
and here's how it came about. So my goal, and it still is to make this a local television show. So initially that was the game plan. And then I was meeting with a good friend of mine who'd worked with me on a previous show who really just wanted to run live events. Like, come on, why don't we run live events? I'm like, dude, I want to do a TV show. He goes, why would you put all your money into renting a studio and a camera crew and everyone when you've never actually run your own show before? And I'm like, don't ever confuse me with logic. So I said, all right, what do you suggest? He goes, let's start live events. I said, tell you what, we'll do live events, but I'm still going to have a camera crew there because we're going to take all this footage and make one heck of a show. He goes, do it.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea.
And that was January. It was New Year's Eve party 2020. And I said, let's do it. And I booked Friday the 13th. Play the music March 2020, thinking that'll be awesome.
That's like the D-Day of businesses and crowds and coming
it was
together.
Also the start of something called the coronavirus.
That's what I'm saying. Is
so,
like that was the month that that everybody dispersed and got sent home.
The month that everybody went home.
And you remember, because I was at our groups, because you were doing some amazing local business group at the time, and I was coming in every week like, guys, you've got to come to our first show. And I was everywhere in Altamont Springs. I was in every store with our flyers. We were doing Facebook Lives. We had the ring rented. We had the stage rented 24 hours before the show. First, I get a call that WWE, the biggest company in the world, which was supposed to run their Friday night show in Boston, is instead going to do it in Winter Park, Florida. So I'm like, this is incredible. I started laughing. I'm like, and my friend said, why are you laughing? This is a disaster. I'm like, no. It's like, what a great story. The little guy tries to create his promotion, finally gets to do it, and now he's going to go up against the biggest company in the world. Now, what I didn't know was they were not going to have any fans in the building. Again, we didn't know what was going to happen with this coronavirus. But literally 24 hours before the show, then I get a call from the city of Altamont saying, hey, someone in our city just got this coronavirus. Not the building we were running, the city. We're going to shut all the city buildings down. So I had to cancel our first show 24 hours before showtime. I thought, all right, 2-3 months, this thing will be gone.
You have like the best attitude of anybody I've ever met in my life. You really do, because he just doesn't seem to be deterred. I would have lost my, if that would have happened to me.
We can't help it.
No,
what are you going to do?
Ultimately, I think it was for the best, because what happened was, I'm thinking, all right, 2-3 months, we'll be back. That became 6 months. That became 9 months. That became a year. Finally, about a year and almost a half later, we found a venue in Sanford to run. And we killed it. I think the building was supposed to have 300. We probably had 350.
Well, so people were just dying to get out.
Yes.
We just had it. They were like, okay, done with this. Give us, if we have to wear masks, we'll wear masks. But let us go out and see people.
Yeah, and it was amazing. We had our first show, Heroes versus Villains in Sanford. We oversold the building, which was incredible.
Naughty.
And to this day, I think, had we run the first show on that Friday the 13th, we could have had an empty crowd of people just scared to get out of their houses. Instead, we did it the right way. And we've been running almost every 2 months. And the only other hiccup I've had was we were going to do a great show called Super Fight. And it was going to be our first show in Altamont Springs. 2 months of promoting. And 2 days before, we had the hurricane.
Was it Ian? Which one was before Ian?
What was the name? I forget now. It was just... Well, anyway.
I'm terrible with names, so.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I had other names for him that week. But I remember the hurricane passed. I'm like, okay, great. We can get back to promoting. And then the building called me in the good old city of Altamont. My good friends there were like, hey, so the road to your building is completely flooded.
It was Irma.
Irma, thank you. And unless you have a rowboat, you're not getting to the building. When you get to the building, we have no power. So you have no show this weekend.
Unless you have a rowboat and a generator.
I was willing. Trust me. I drove there. I'm like thinking, well, we could probably drive through with a 4x4. No. So we took a little break, but we came back super strong with our Christmas show, the Winter Wonder Slam.
Love it.
Yes. We gave 10% of the ticket gate to our good friends at the Special Needs Advocacy Group. Michael Barron, Jamie Grover, amazing people help with kids with autism and their families. So we were covered on Fox 35, where you can still see it on their website. And it just was our first Altamont show, and we knocked it out of the park. And we're going to be doing Altamont for, of course, Sunday, March 19th, as well as another
I'm such a
upcoming
girl.
show.
When he does that, it makes me giggle. Come on.
I'm going to have to do a lot more often now, you realize.
You're encouraging him.
I'm going to try not to giggle like a little schoolgirl.
That's a challenge now.
So prior to March 19th, what was,
Yes.
so you said every 2 months. So what was the last one that you said that you had done?
So our most recent one was Riddle Me This.
Mm-hmm.
It was January, and it featured one of our most popular wrestlers, the Evil Emperor of Professional Wrestling, Simon Says, also the host of the well-known Simon Time Trivia Show. And Simon gave it his all. We had a no-holds-barred battle, which means they can go anywhere around the venue, use any weapon they want, and it literally blew the roof off the building. We had a very special guest appearance by a very famous Father James Mitchell from Impact Wrestling. We didn't tell anybody he was in the building. He came out with a giant fireball in one of our wrestlers' face.
I forgot about Impact. So
yes.
So okay. So the history of wrestling is like you had WWE and you had TNA and then you had Impact, but they all kind of rotate. I mean, how does and then like I said, now we have this with Pro Wrestling Action. How do they all fit together? Are they all just like the same thing but different businesses?
Well, nothing matters but Pro Wrestling Action, of course. But if we need to talk about these other gigantic companies. So WWE, of course, is the most famous company in the world.
What was it before WWE, though?
World Wrestling Federation. And they renamed it because the World Wildlife Fund sued them, and they said, let them have it. And they changed it to World Wrestling Entertainment. And that was, I think that changed about 20 years ago, and they're still going super strong. Right now, they're actually looking to possibly sell the company for probably $9 billion.
They used to come here when I worked here for iHeart. They paid sick money for like advertising. And I was like, hell yeah, bring it on.
And they make sick money, which is good because I'm a stockholder.
Smart man.
Now, Impact and TNA actually are the same company. So
they merged.
No, they just changed the name. So TNA, their main show was Impact. After a while, they just rebranded as Impact. They did sell the company to a new owner, Anthem. But that is the same company.
Wow. See, I didn't know that because you had a different set of wrestlers for like, you had the WWE wrestlers and then you had the TNA wrestlers. It was two separate sets.
You have to understand they're all independent contractors. So once their exclusivity ends, they might switch companies just like a baseball team can trade.
Gotcha. No, that when you make an analogy, that makes sense for me. I want to talk about some of your wrestlers.
Heck yeah.
So
let's do it.
All right. So how many matches are per episode or per show?
We typically do 6 to 7. In that way, we're about a 2-hour show, give or take. You can never tell exactly because you never know how long a match is going to go.
Yeah.
But this way, people can come out, have a great time. They can still get home early enough for school at work the next day, and they're looking forward to the next show.
Right. And it's co-ed, men and women. I see a really
absolutely
buff girl right there.
Yeah, this is Vicky, the Captain Dreamboat. She just became the new Marvel's champion. That's Marvel's with a Z. She is our first women's pro wrestling action champion, and she is beloved. She came to us. She is legitimately a boat captain.
I mean, she's got some pipes.
Oh, absolutely. She's amazing. She's legitimately a boat captain out in Jacksonville.
See, you did it to me again. You want to make me jump. You're trying to do it on purpose, Melissa.
Well, it's a way to cut the content down and leave a tease for the other side of the break that's coming up right now on BaaD Radio.
All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back. Want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor, Bolts Legal. Fear no storm with boltslegal.com. and 33 Tanning Spa with locations in Altamont Springs and Longwood. So that's 33 Tanning Spa, but it's also 33 Micro Spa. All right, so before break, we started to talk about our actual wrestlers.
Yes.
So who are we featuring for March
Okay.
19th?
So for March 19th, right on the poster, we've got Vicky the Captain Dreamboat.
Here, let me see one of them.
Absolutely. She is, I like to call her Sanford's sweetheart, but now we're in Altamont. She's amazing. If you took Betty Boop and Popeye and you made a character out of them, that's her. The fans absolutely adore her.
Did you say ooh?
I said cute.
Oh, cute.
Oh, why would I say ew?
I don't know.
It's cute.
You got to say ooh for the bad guys, cute for the good guys. Yeah, she's amazing. In fact, we had a huge surprise at our last show. She was about to start her match, and we literally announced at the last second that this was for the brand new Pro Wrestling Action Marvel's Championship. It was her versus Shalance Royal, and she stood victorious at the end. She's our inaugural, I should say, not new, Marvel's champion. So now all the other ladies are going to come gunning for her.
Right, now she's got that target on her back, huh?
Oh, yeah. And on this show, we've got the Queen of Hollywood Horror, Lexi Gomez. We're bringing back the Island Girl, Tracy Taylor. We're debuting the 5-star athlete, Ruthie J. And I'm so thrilled about this. From WOW Women of Wrestling, the WOW World Champion, Marina Tucker, is on the show Sunday, March 19th.
Okay, and so all of them like wrestling each other.
Actually, there'll be some separate matches, but they'll be wrestling.
Okay. All right. So what about the gentleman here?
All right. So as far as the gentlemen, we have a most diverse cast here. So our champion is the horrific, the menace to society, Agony, who never speaks. He's in the skull mask. We never know what's going on in that dark brain of his. He is our all-star champion. He is led and managed by the nefariously intelligent Dr. Eric Christopher, the psychiatrist to the wrestling community, and some say controlled. I may not say that because I don't want to get my butt kicked in the ring, but they are a very dark and powerful team. This time, we have a challenge for his title, and that is the mysterious Beast. And Beast comes from some island we don't know where, usually eating a cow heart when he comes to the ring, tattooed from head to toe. He is a phenomenal and very powerful wrestler, so this is going to be a heck of a match. That is our All-Star Championship match. But we're calling this Jackpot because we theme our show. So if you've been to our show before, you've been to the circus, you've been to outer space, now we're going to Vegas. This show is called the All-Star Jackpot. In our main event, we have 4 young talents. We have the lifeguard, Izzy Vaden. We have the arrogant Adonis, Richard King. We have brand new, the Aztec warrior, Dante Casanova. And a big fan favorite, the very flamboyant from Chicago, Illinois. He is the dad bod demigod, Joey Mayberry. 4 men compete. 1 will win the jackpot and go on to be the #1 contender to the All-Star Championship.
You got to say that again. Dad bod what?
He is the dad bod demigod.
I love it. Okay, so the main event is that the four of them right there. So you got
And only 1 can win the jackpot.
How does it go down? I mean, does it start with like 2 in the ring and then they have to like hit hands and it switches out?
Nope, no, that would be more of a tag. We're going to put all 4 men in at the same time, and it's called a fatal 4-way. All 4 compete at the same time, and whoever wins the match by pinfall or submission gets the championship opportunity at All-Star Battle, which is our future show coming up.
So it's not teams then? It's
No. They're all out for themselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good guy, bad guy, it doesn't matter. Each man wants to win that jackpot.
Who do you want to win?
I am impartial.
Oh, come on.
I am a professional.
Do you believe that?
I mean,
I am a professional. I cannot have a dog in this race, a pony in this race. I'm going to destroy the metaphor, but
Both of them.
yeah, I've got to be above. I cannot pick a favorite.
Okay, so you are a promoter, but you're also the announcer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what do you, I mean, obviously you've got the announcing down really well, and
Thank you.
very, very impressed. But during the show, I mean, how did your job is to get the crowd pumped up, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Prior to the show, I'm overseeing a lot, the ring coming in, the talent coming in, getting the photographs ready, getting a million things that happen. But when doors open, brain switches to announcer mode.
How do you find the talent?
Oh man, it's so wild. So I've been doing this about 12 years as an announcer, and I probably didn't say what brought me. One of the things that brought me to doing my own promotion, because I had been announcing for so many, is I'd seen so many shows where I'm so impressed by what these young men and women do in the ring. I mean, to entertain you, they will train for months. They'll train for years. They'll drive for hours just to get those 4 to 5 to 20 minutes in front of a crowd to entertain you. Whether you love them or you hate them, that's what they're there for. And I've seen so many shows where I'm like, man, the production just isn't up to them.
Okay.
Like, they need a better platform. So that was part of my passion in producing Pro Wrestling Action, that we have a great production, that we entertain the fans, and we make you fans. You don't have to be a pro wrestling fan to enjoy Pro Wrestling Action. You just have to enjoy 2 hours of escapist fun. You don't worry about the price of eggs or gas. You literally just come in, and if you're not a kid, you're going to be a kid again for 2 hours. You're going to cheer your heroes, boo your villains, and have a great old time.
Right.
Love it. Have a great old time.
Have you ever been to any wrestling?
I haven't, and I don't really watch it, so this is fascinating. But my brother, when he was little, he watched wrestling when he was really little, and he would just walk around the house in just his underwear. So we gave him his own wrestling name. He was Tighty Whitey.
I like it. Yeah. And now making his way to the playpen, Tighty Whitey.
Oh, I love it.
That's so awesome.
I have to send that to my brother. He's gonna
absolutely do like a little sound clip of it.
No charge for that one.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
How do they come up with the names? Okay, well, let me ask you this question: Do you have a part to play in the development of each one of the wrestlers, or do they basically come to you and you interview them and decide if you want to put them on your bill, that kind of thing?
It's a little bit of both. So having done it for so long, I know so many people. So I have a team that works on the show. I have a booker. A booker is a person who basically is like the author. Will determine, hey, we should have this one versus this one versus this one, and then I'll contact that talent and see if they're available. If they're available, and I can afford them. And I think they're really going to entertain this crowd. They're part of our show. And many times they have their own concepts, but there have been some that we've worked on concepts with, and some of them have really hit it out of the park.
So do you guys get together and talk about it prior with the different, like, because you're telling stories.
Yes.
So do you guys get together prior to kind of like, and I'm not saying the outcome, but, you know, like we're talking about Vegas now. Do they have any say so, or is it just all organic?
Well, we don't know the outcome until the match is over, but we know their characters. We know the style of wrestling. And actually, if you check out on our Facebook or Instagram, which you can easily find at Pro Wrestling Action, you'll see some of what we call our promos. So our creative wrestlers will basically use their smartphones, like everybody does today, as today's TV studios. They'll cut promos to show you who they are, what their character is about, and why you definitely want to be at Eastmont Civic Center Sunday, March 19th to see them in action at Pro Wrestling Action.
So do they start to talk smack?
Oh, absolutely.
On their social media?
Yes. In fact, I think last night just went live a few minutes from the arrogant Adonis, Richard King, who he is in that jackpot match. Is
he going after the dad bod?
He is going after every man in that match, and then he's going after the champion if he has his way. And he does talk quite a bit of smack.
And so it's like a soap opera. People they start to follow the stories, and then you get mad at this one because he disrespected your mama, and then something happens over here, and so that's really what it is. It's like a series of soap operas, right?
Absolutely. And you know, soap opera. Once you finish one episode, you never finish because you've got to see what happens next. So that's our goal: to entertain you and make you want to come back to the next show.
I think that's fascinating. We're going to come on March 19th. I told you, he hung out with Tom and I at Kava Culture, and we were talking about it. And so we're going to introduce Aiden to his first wrestling match.
Are you going to sit in the splash zone?
No, I am not. But I have a feeling that they're allowed to walk around and get involved with the crowd. And so
things can happen.
I'm like a magnet for that stuff.
He's going to point you out. You know that now.
You better not. Because I have to tell you, it's like if you're in a haunted house, I get pinpointed.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Are you really, are you like obviously scared?
I mean, I am scared, but I mean, it like in those kind of social things, like they'll be like, okay, there's the blonde screamer, let's go get her.
Yeah.
So
wait, I want to be known as the blonde screamer.
Hey, that'll be my wrestling name, the blonde screamer.
You know, I'm writing these ideas down.
Yeah, please do. Hey, we're going to take a break. You don't mind, do you? All right. You're listening to BaaD Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back for our last segment. And this portion of Bad Radio is brought to you by Andrews Law PA. She is an auto accident attorney. You can contact her at andrewslaw.com. And also Crazy Muscle Nutrition in Longwood. Zach has been on the show before, and you know what? I actually took a chill pill before I came here today.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And my animals were driving me crazy, and I was trying to get ready and trying to put everything together, and I was just like, "Urgh." And so I was like, you know what worked before is a chill pill, so I took it again. So here we are. I'll have to introduce you to chill pills at some point in time. He's like, sounds good to me.
After a show. Yeah. I need an up. I need to go up for the show, but afterwards I could chill.
Yeah, chill pill is tell me, you said it before. You remembered it from last year. It's not kava. It's not
Kanna.
Yeah, it's like another root one, kind of like kava culture.
Okay.
You know, that same mentality. Yeah. So he had a couple drinks with us. I bought him a couple shells for happy hour when he came.
It's nice.
So it was nice. So we were talking about this on break, and so I wanted to bring it up again now. And I mean, because this is a show about businesses.
Sure.
So, what about, like, how do you get this all funded? I mean, because you have to have income to get it started.
Absolutely.
So, like, how do you make that work?
Basically, I'm blessed. I've got amazing people on our team behind the scenes that you don't see, and I've got some amazing sponsors that you do see. The one you see the most on our show is the Jeff Kaufman of Kaufman and Lind.
I know, Jeff.
I know. What doesn't this man do? And he's been with us since day one. He's actually been the refereeing the matches, laying the law down. On our last show, he helped me out in the front being the co-host of the show, which was it was so awesome because he's so good on the mic and he just takes a lot of off my plate.
I hear Jeff on the Monsters over on TKS over here.
Yes.
And then he also, I think he does a show on TKS on Saturday mornings. I think he does.
Yeah, he's got his own podcast now, his own compo company. I don't know what.
Do you ever see some of the videos he puts together?
Yes, I have.
I think it's funny because there's two. It's Kaufman and Lind, and so it's Craig and Jeff. And Craig is kind of the off. I mean, Jeff is the one who's the more animated one, but Craig will join in, and it's just funny because I think one time, the last one I saw where he was like He-Man, or not He-Man, but from what's the guy's, Chris Hemsworth? What is it?
Yes, Thor.
Thor. He was Thor, and it cracked me up.
Yeah, if you've seen like Craig's physique, he could.
He's
be
a big
Thor.
guy. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so you've got so it's Kaufman and Lind or just Jeff?
Yeah, I think Craig will be at the next show, but yeah, Jeff has always been very prominent on our shows. Gets booed a lot, but
I don't think he likes it. I bet you he does like it.
People do boo referees, so he's doing his job. We are doing the after party at the Altamont Springs Mall. The Friendly Confines which will soon be renamed the Oxford, is going to host our after party, so that's going to be amazing. I'll mention a few of our sponsors if that's
Please
okay.
Do.
Our good friends Alexia Emerson with State Farm in Sanford. We have Spices Nice, featuring spices from around the world, downtown grocery in Sanford, and their own branded hot sauce, hotter than El Hot Sauce.
Very nice.
Nancy Groves with Yellow Door Realty, Lake Mary Chiropractic, Fred's Mobile Service, before your car is dead, call Fred. Legal Shield rep Elizabeth Vaselko. 2 Your CDB stores in Longwood and Lake Mary, the Spring Hill Suites and Marriott, the official hotel of Pro Wrestling Action. Drink Body Armor Sports Drinks, the Simon Time Trivia Show, and our newest sponsor, Rooted Body Wellness with Bonnie by Ronnie. She's an amazing massage
therapist.
Ronnie.
Ronnie's in business at a distance.
Yes. And Omira is Rooted Body Wellness. She is there now with Ronnie, and she's doing the massage, and she's amazing. And also Duffy's Sports Grill has been a sponsor, too, right here in Altamont Springs.
Excellent. Well, those are wonderful sponsors.
Yeah, we're always looking for other great ones.
Yeah, so we're going to have to collaborate because, like I said, we're very sponsor-driven, too. So maybe we can share some sponsorship contacts.
Absolutely.
So that's how you kind of get started. And so, you put it all together and then tell us about how to get tickets, how much ticket costs, what's included. And then I want to hear about this after party.
Yes, absolutely. So if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Pro Wrestling Action, you'll see a lot of this wonderful flyer, this one for All-Star Jackpot. And on there's a QR code you can snap, click, and go right to the website. Or if you're not a QR code kind of person, just go to pwajackpot.eventbrite.com. I probably should hold it to the camera instead of to myself.
Yeah.
pwajackpot.eventbrite.com. And you can get your tickets there in advance. Front row will be sold out very soon. So I would definitely grab those front row tickets immediately. and then we're going to go right into general admission. And tickets are running between $15 and $20 in advance.
That is not bad at all.
No, we try
For
to
an
keep it
evening of
affordable.
fun.
Right.
Yep. And a lot of people told me, it's like, why don't you double these prices? Like, you know what? Right now, people need an affordable entertainment. I want to give you more value for your money so that you can take the kids, you can have a great time. Again, if we can keep it that way, then it's easy for everybody to come every other month.
Everything's so expensive now that, I mean, I love the fact that you're keeping it affordable because, like you said, it's just, things are tight. Like you're talking about eggs and gas and stuff, but
I will say they do go up the day of the show.
Right.
So we
Okay,
definitely want you to buy your tickets in advance right now at pwajackpot.eventbrite.com.
Okay. Do you notice that he changes his tone every time he says?
I can tell when he's going into announcer mode.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Every time you say the name of it, you do. All right, so that's how you get tickets. Okay, so say you can't get tickets, so you can do walk up, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure front row will be gone by then. Whatever general admission are left will be at walk up. It'll be another $5 day of walk up.
Okay,
and
that's not too bad.
Yeah, again, I try to keep it affordable, but there's definitely an incentive for getting your tickets in advance. In fact, typically what we've done is the night of every show, we already know the next date. We'll put it on the screen that, hey, if you go on your phones right then and there and buy tickets to the next show, we'll give you $5 off with an early bird special.
Okay.
So when you have a great time at All Star Jackpot, you can buy your tickets for our May 21st show right at the same night.
Mm-hmm. And do you switch the venues every time?
Yeah. So right now we've made our current home the Altamont Springs Eastmont Civic Center, and we will do that again for May. And then we're going to be returning to the Sanford Civic Center for our anniversary show in July.
So you just like to rotate it around so that you can hit different areas, or
Absolutely, and we're keeping it within kind of the same area so we can build the same crowd. And then within the next year, we're planning to go into Volusia and go into Orange.
Okay.
I would think that you would need to have like the same sort of setup, like for
That's what I was
when you're talking
too.
about like fireballs and things like that. I'm like, how do you go from like completely different venues? Like, you just move everything. It's not that big of a deal.
We're nomads, man. We go right into the building and we make it our home. In fact, we also do a selfie station free for the fans where we have a big 5x7, not a 5x7 and a 7x9 banner. One of our big logos, so you can take pictures with the wrestler in front of the logo.
Nice.
And the other one will be per show. So this one, I believe we're going to have the Vegas sign up. So you can take pictures in front of the Vegas sign with your favorite wrestler.
That's very cool.
You have the ones with like the face cut out so people can like stick their face and be the wrestlers.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be cute.
I'm going to work on that one.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
No, that is a good one
Oh, that'd
because
be
like
cute.
that, lots of times these kids like they pick out their favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like their monster trucks.
Oh, yeah.
They have their favorite monster truck. They have their favorite
Exactly.
wrestler.
And they'll be able to meet the wrestlers. We actually will open the doors at 6 o'clock, and some of the wrestlers will be out there. You can meet and greet, take pictures with them, have a great time. And then 7 o'clock, we start the action.
And then how do you get involved with the after party?
Oh, thanks for telling me, reminding me, the after party is going to be so much fun. So my good friend Ben Paris, he has just bought into the Altamont Springs Mall, the Friendly Confines, which will soon be rebranded as the Oxford, is proud to present our after party. So when the show is wrapping up, you can just head right over, tell them at the front that you're there for the Pro Wrestling Action.
But I mean, do you have to buy a
after party.
ticket for the after party?
No. You just buy what you want, order the food you want, order the drink you want, have a great time. As the night goes on, our wrestlers, as they leave the venue, will go there, and you can take more pictures with them.
Very nice.
And we'll just have a lot of fun at the Oxford. Right now, the signage is for the Friendly Confines. Soon it'll be the Oxford at the Altamont Springs Mall.
All right, we got 1 minute left right here. Just real quick, is there food at the venue too, though?
Yes, we'll have food at the venue from Zippo's Pizza, amazing pizza from Castleberry. By the way, I should have mentioned 2 great matches. We've got the Chicago Bear Hug, Steve Michaels. We've got the Man in the Mosh Pit, Ozzy Killmeister, Only Cam Stewart, and the Wrangler Nick Turner, all in action at Pro Wrestling Action All-Star Jackpot, Sunday, March 19th.
All right, so I'll do one more time. And like I said, we're going to wrap it up now. Go to tell everybody the website to go to right now.
Absolutely. You can always go to ProWrestlingAction.com, but specifically for tickets, go to PWAJackpot.eventbrite.com.
And Melissa?
Oh, I am Striking Brand on all social media and www.strikingbrand.com.
And I am Angela, and you can reach me at angela@baadradio.com. And if you want to see all the episodes of BaaD Radio, you go to baadradio.com as well. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful week.
Boom, Chaka. You've been listening to BaaD Radio on News Radio WFLA Orlando.